Cheers to a new year. I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. To celebrate the start of 2026, view FYI highlights from last year during the fourth installment of the Year in Review. 5 years ago, it was decided that a complicated development project would make it safer and easier for people to cross from Barton to Bandemer Park. In June of 2025, ground broke and the new pedestrian tunnel was underway, with a 2-day closure of one of Michigan's most used railways. And now this area is a destination for travelers of all kinds.
We're celebrating the opening of the Barton Bandemer pedestrian tunnel. It's part of the Border to Border Trail. People wanted to cross at this location, and one of the best things you can do in planning is listen to what people are already doing. So, there's a desire here to cross, which is why we invested the resources to make that crossing formalized.
It improves safety, it improves health, it improves our access to nature.
Making the trail with gentle grades, open sight lines, it makes the trail usable by people of all walks of life and different abilities.
It's so tucked away perfectly. It actually adds to and enhances the environment already here. Ode to Huron is meant to bring in the natural elements of outside, but I wanted to bring that crossroad between nature and man-made.
It gives you access to what's in your backyard. City of Ann Arbor has a great park system. The Border to Border Trail connects beyond the city limits, so you can go explore your neighboring communities, maybe discover some parks and places that you didn't know were there.
2, 3.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream is celebrated the third Monday of every January. But the conversation about race and freedom is ongoing. For decades, Washtenaw Community College has been honoring Dr. King and people in the community that bring his powerful words to fruition through action and education.
We have our 19th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, and this is to honor his legacy, and then also others that have been doing works leading up to his legacy and honor his legacy. We're doing that today.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy as a whole within Washtenaw Community College means that we really champion character, diversity, equity, but also, getting to know people from different backgrounds.
We are a manifestation of the dream. At WCC, we are open access. We're open and accessible to any and every student, no matter their gender, their race, their economics. So in our celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King, we're celebrating WCC as well of being a keeper of the dream.
I was nominated for the Equity in Action Award for 2025, honoring Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy because of the fact of my work within the Entrepreneurship Center here on campus.
We have our writing center, Tom Zimmerman and Ernesto. They both are amazing leaders within the center. They've done work tutoring students in the community to help them with their scholarship essays. Then we have Girls Group, who has done amazing work supporting young ladies in the community, doing wraparound services, going from middle school to high school to college and through college.
This day and this moment allows us to reflect on what we can do every single day to help others in the work that we do or the service that we provide to others.
Education is the key to economic freedom. We're very affordable institution, and we promote pathways that lead to economic freedom and social mobility, just like Dr. King wanted.
June 1st, 2020, A20 was established within the city of Ann Arbor as a way to achieve carbon-wide neutrality by 2030. Every June, events throughout Ann Arbor teach residents ways to live more sustainably during A20 week.
We're here for our A20 Ward 3 party. Really excited to have it right here in my neighborhood in Bryant at Arbor Oaks Park, and an opportunity for folks to come out and celebrate in the neighborhood, but also see some of the incredible work that we're doing with A20.
Ward parties are hosted by the Office of Sustainability and Innovations and each council members for each ward. And so we've got plant-based food, a clothing swap, lemon sorbet from Washtenaw Dairy, kids station, a little bit of everything for everybody.
using things like the circular economy to share things out rather than throwing things into a landfill. You know, that piece of clothing that you're maybe tired of is maybe something that somebody else is going to get really excited about and be able to wear. So, you know, donating those things, sharing them, participating in clothing swaps, and then just introducing a little bit more plant-based food into your diet. Our local governments can step up, our local communities can step up, and we can do our part to make sure that we're keeping our planet healthy and clean and safe for the next generation.
Another way to minimize your carbon footprint is eating more plants from local growers. The city released a free downloadable A20 community cookbook for a place to find delicious vegetable-rich recipes. And check out the annual Harvest Festival held at the Ann Arbor Farmers Market.
We are here at the Ann Arbor Local Food Festival, which is an annual event celebrating Michigan food and farming and all of the amazing people in the community who make our food system more sustainable, equitable, and resilient. We know that plant-based foods tend to be less intensive on the environment. They have lower carbon footprints than animal-based foods like meat and dairy. And generally, scientists agree that in order to stop climate change and to keep it from progressing into dangerous levels, we need to drastically shift the way that we eat.
We just opened a restaurant called Echelon Kitchen and Bar in downtown Ann Arbor, Main Street. We're a wood-fired, vegetable-forward restaurant. We try to buy everything possible within 50 miles of the restaurant. We took flavors that are familiar with us. We went almost like a Mexican route. We juice the carrots, we roast carrots, we smoke carrots, we make a mousse with carrots and cheese. Carrots are on the dish in about 6 or 7 different ways.
The produce pageant is an opportunity for folks to try food from local farms, sliced into bite-sized pieces so that you don't have to commit to trying a new food without, getting to sample it first. It's a great way to try plant-based eating, to try a couple of really great options in our local food system that are more sustainable, and to connect to the farmers who grew your food.
Local food needs to grow and needs to become the paramount source of food in people's homes. In Michigan, we're the second largest producer of edible food in the country. We need to celebrate that and show up for our local food artisans.
Habitat for Humanity Huron Valley is raising up neighborhoods one garden bed at a time with community cleanups. Watch as volunteers work hard to transform an area in desperate need of repairs.
Today we are in the Sugarbrook neighborhood doing our very first Spring Beautification Day in the community. So this is an exciting event where we are working at multiple sites throughout the community. We've got over 30 volunteers here.
We are putting mulch in, we're getting rid of stuff you don't have in your home. You don't want to keep, bring it. We putting mulch down, flowers down, we building a wall with bricks. Also, we building a library down at the hub. But let me tell you, this is such a great need. We have wonderful volunteers. Look, we're strong today.
We really encourage everybody to, come out and get involved in your local community, and Habitat's a great way to do that. You can really pick from a lot of skill set areas.
Working together, connecting together, being together as a family. That's what I consider Humanity for Habitat for this particular project on today.
We have the ability to, strengthen communities and make them more sustainable and increase the quality of life for people that live here.
The Guild of Artists and Artisans opens doors for creators across mediums to live their authentic self through the arts. In order for this nonprofit to provide these opportunities throughout the year, they need our support.
We are here at the Guild of Artists and Artisans fundraiser. We are raising money for the nonprofit and to support artists.
For those of us like myself who rely on juried art fairs to be able to market our work product, which is our fine art and craft, the Guild's events are priceless.
So we put on anywhere between 6 and 9 art fairs a year. And we also have the Gutman Gallery, which is in downtown Ann Arbor. Another facet of the Guild and place where artists can sell their work and people of the community can come in and learn more about arts and culture and purchase art. This year's theme is Travel the World of Art. So we have different stations throughout the whole fundraiser.
Just having people come through and take a look at different demos that folks are doing. Got people drawing, people painting, I'm doing photography.
Join us in the future at one of our events, either in the Gutman Gallery or one of our art fairs.
Tucked away deep down on Varsity Drive in Ann Arbor is a place of wonderment and intrigue that houses the history of millions upon millions of specimens collected in the natural world and the discoveries of now.
Here we're inside the Research Museum Center, which houses 4 of the research museums from the University of Michigan. Inside the Museum of Zoology, we are the repository for preserved specimens of animals, and we have about 15 million of them that span about 200 years of collection from all over the world. I studied behavior, animal behavior, and so that's not a traditional path for someone who is a curator or director of specimens in a collection, because you cannot study behavior on specimens that have been preserved. So I come with a little bit of a non-traditional approach to thinking about what a collection is, how it can be used. I do take a lot of behavioral data on organisms before they're preserved and put into the museum. I go all over the Western Hemisphere looking at different color patterns that snakes have in nature and try to answer questions and test hypotheses about why we see that distribution across space and time.
This is the herbarium at the University of Michigan. This is a large collection of plants and fungi with 1.75 million specimens. It's about the second largest collection linked to a university in the US.
So they are dried and pressed plants. I call myself a dead plant librarian, and they are there so that they can be a document, a record of the past, so that we can continue to see it in the present and into the future. The core of our collection is from the first Geologic Survey of Michigan in 1838. So we have collections from that time that we are still using for research, for historical research, not just scientific research. And the people who collected that had no idea what we would be using these specimens for. And as time goes on, specimens that I collect today are going to continue to be used on into the future.
And one of my best examples of the new technology that we use on specimens now that wasn't available 100 years ago is CT scanning, where we can take any animal that's in a jar like this and put it inside this machine, and what can come out is a 3-dimensional digital representation of what's on the inside of the animal without ever dissecting it or harming it in any way. And that kind of technology is what I hope for the future, that the specimens that I collect today can be used in ways I can't even imagine 100 or 200 years from today. So the Biodiversity Scholars Program is a new initiative that we launched in collaboration with the University of Michigan Herbarium to try to provide a stronger cohorting community and more research opportunities to undergraduates at the University of Michigan.
We are able to do so many different types of studies of research and understanding ecosystems because of the scale of our collection.
This would be my favorite row of snakes. We have 15 million specimens. We are one of the largest biodiversity collections in the entire world. Every museum collection is basically a time series where every single specimen is a time capsule of what life was like in the past, and then will be used as we continue to collect for what today looks like when we are in the past, to the scientists of the future. And one of the most important ways that collections can inform policy is also about human health. We help connect scientists around the globe to each other, students around the globe to each other, but also how local communities interact with their local biodiversity.
Not only does the Research Museum Center house some of the mysteries of the world, but it also gives viral sensation Charlie Engelman a seemingly endless toolbox of content to create short videos about the wonderful worlds of science. We live in a town with a world-class education right in our backyard, and one local is taking advantage of the tools the University of Michigan Research Museum Center provides by providing thought-provoking original science-based content that has amassed millions of followers, even receiving a coveted Time magazine honor. Joining me is Charlie Engelman, creator of the online sensation Odd Animal Specimens. Welcome to the show, Charlie.
Hello, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, your videos are so, I just couldn't stop watching them. They're so good. And your production quality is on point. You have beautiful lighting, your camera's crisp, your audio is great, and you have a very inviting persona.
Thank you. That really means a lot coming from you. So thanks a bunch. I think,
Yeah.
when I put it together, I tried to boil it down to just a few specific things and tried to kind of do the best I could with kind of those things that you listed. So I'm glad that those characteristics shine through.
Oh, they really do. I'd like to know a little bit more about you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you originally, you're not originally from this area, right? You went to school here?
Yeah, I'm from just north of Chicago, but I went to Michigan. I was an undergrad back in like 2011 to 2015.
And so what did you go to school for? What was your passion at that time?
I studied ecology and evolutionary biology. So how things evolve and then how different kind of like organisms interact in the wild. Mostly science classes, things like how to identify trees and plants and birds and stuff like that. But I was lucky in that I had a lot of free time to fill in my schedule. So I was able to take other things like acting classes and art classes and writing classes and kind of fill out my coursework with some more creative studies as well.
Many years ago, you had some Nat Geo shows, right? So that was sort of where you ended up after college.
Yeah, I started making stuff on YouTube in college. And then right after I graduated, I had a couple of shows with National Geographic and then Disney. So there was a shorter show called Nature Boom Time, which was about trees and forests across the United States. And then I had a longer show called Weird But True, which was a kids' science show, which aired for 3 seasons on Fox, Disney Plus, and Nat Geo Channel. And that was my first job after graduating. I was a head writer, an executive producer, the host, and the art director of those shows for Disney.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing to go from like nothing to like you're working for Disney and you're making content that like you want to create.
Yeah, it was extraordinarily unusual because I think in television, oftentimes, like a network will want you to make a specific type of show, or you're kind of making something for them. It's almost like you are like a shirt maker, and they want you to make a specific shirt that they have in mind. But I was lucky when I started working with Nat Geo. They had seen kind of some of the YouTube videos that I had done and this shorter series on trees that I pitched to them. And I was so creative and different that they kind of just let me do pretty much whatever I wanted, which was so fun because, like I hired my family and my friends to be other actors on the show. And we were basically like playing dress up. And my friend who was on the show kind of described it in this way. It's like we're playing dress up with like $1 million budget because we just got to like be historical characters and do a bunch of extreme art projects and stuff like that. It was a very unusual time and it was an extraordinary amount of fun.
So those shows end, and then what happens?
Those shows ended around 2020 because COVID happened and television production really stopped because you couldn't really travel around. Travel was a big part of that show too. So I started trying to figure out how to do more independent style production because, like I said, I started on YouTube and then I went into TV. So I was kind of looking back into some more digital spaces and figure out what I could do there. I was experimenting with some different things like live streaming and doing shorts online. And then I remembered I volunteered at the Natural History Museum when I was an undergrad here in Ann Arbor. And I got to see a lot of their research collections, which were huge and massive. And it was all behind the scenes and stuff that people would never see. And I thought it would be interesting to try to share some of those things that were kind of closed off to people through educational science videos. And I was kind of surprised that museum collections, the pieces in the collection, weren't often used in educational videos. And I didn't really understand why, because it seemed like they're all on a shelf. They're waiting for us. We can just pick them off, film them, and talk about them. And it seems like people would be interested in it. So I kind of experimented with that idea for like about 6 months with some items that I had in my own like personal collection, like some rocks and some fossils and stuff, and came up with a type of video that people really responded well to. And then I collaborated or I hooked up with the Chicago Academy of Sciences in Chicago that has a interesting research collection there, and I started making some videos there. And then I eventually reached out with to some of the people that I've worked with when I was an undergrad here at Michigan to see if I could come and film in their collection. And that was like 3 or 4 years ago. And while I've come and gone a few times since then, I think for the past 2 or 3 years I've been here in their collections, specifically filming all the stuff that they have.
Wow, that's amazing. I think I would be surprised that they were receptive to it. Not that they shouldn't be or anything, but you never know how someone's going to be like, "Mm, okay, yeah, do it," or
Yeah.
like, no, no, those are really we don't want anything to happen to those things, you know?
No, you're definitely right, especially because it's museums and the whole point of these institutions is to protect them and make sure that nothing happens to them so they can be studied for years and years. So I think the only reason that they let me in is because I had this previous connection. I studied all this stuff, so I knew the significance of it. So I was going through very, very carefully, and I was making sure I was getting the proper training to handle things the right way. And I mean, you've seen my videos too. It's not like I'm taking a skull and shaking it up or throwing it across the room. I handle things very delicately. So I think they were encouraged by that and felt more confident seeing some of the videos I had made before.
So technically, you don't work for the university; you just have a relationship with them and this Chicago museum that you were discussing.
Yeah, I don't work for the university, but I do have a research position there. So I'm like an affiliate academic or an affiliate researcher there.
Okay.
So we have I'm kind of part of the EEB department, the Ecology and Evolutionary Biology department, and I have kind of a official, unofficial position within the museum.
Okay, so you're there, you're part of the process, you're around, everybody knows you.
Yeah, I got my little office studio in a corner. They aren't surprised when I show up there.
Talk about, the content. You obviously have so much stuff at your fingertips. That museum is one of the best museums I've ever been to. I love
Yeah.
the University of Michigan Natural History Museum. I'm like, I need to take my 2-year-old there now because he's really into dinos and stuff. And I'm like, now's the time. Let's start going there because it's so
Oh,
fun.
sure.
And every time I go there, I'm like, I have a great time. I will say this is something I just learned about myself recently that I wasn't super into science when I was young, but now
Sure.
I am. I'm like outside with the kids and I'm like, oh my God, look, there's all these cicadas on this tree, or like, they shed their skin and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
over there counting all these skins I'm finding. And like, this is stuff I never
Nice.
even would have noticed at some point in my life. And now I'm
Yeah.
like completely fully aware of it. And I think it's amazing to learn about the things outside.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's incredible, and it's such a great resource too, right? I mean, having that natural history museum in town, it's so accessible. There's so many like incredible things there that are the best representation of fossils and animals that you can find anywhere in the entire world. And the cool thing is, so there's the Natural History Museum in town, and there is the Museum of Zoology, which is a private collection. It's like a research collection that's kind of out near Costco. And while there might be a few specimens in the Natural History Museum, there are over 14 million specimens in the research collection that's out near Costco. So that's kind of where I spend my time. And there are kind of enormous storage facilities or storage rooms that have cabinets that are like floor to ceiling cabinets that hold millions of fish bones and insect specimens and bird specimens and mammals. And it's almost like you could nearly think of any animal that you can imagine. And you can go through with your little kind of cart and pick it off the shelf. And it's right there in a room in a building out near Costco in Ann Arbor. They have everything there. It's
That's
incredible.
amazing. It's like when you go to UMA and you're like, oh, the paintings here are beautiful, and then you find out that they have like a bunch of Picassos in the basement.
Yeah, it's like a percent, like a portion of a percent of what they actually have.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's like the same exact thing where they just have so much stuff, and you're going to be busy for the rest of your life making these videos if you keep going.
It's like when you go to an ice cream store and there's so many options and you're like, oh, I don't know which one to get. And usually you get one, but you're like, I wish I did that one. That's kind of how I feel. It's like I choose to make a video about this, and I'm like, I kind of want to wish I did that one now. It's
But that's
just
amazing because you always have the next thing that you want to do.
That's true. There's always the next thing to do.
Yeah, because I was looking at your videos, and honestly, I remembered because I like this idea. They're short, so they're memorable, and you're like teaching us something that maybe you know or don't know, but maybe you know what I mean? So, like the one when you were talking about the sharks and the fish that has the most teeth. And then we were watching this show. Me and my husband were watching the show alone. I don't know if you've ever seen it, where people like
Oh yeah, sure.
yeah, they're alone somewhere and they have to survive. And they're in Africa right now. And this guy got this gargantuan catfish. And I was like, oh, the catfish has more teeth than any other
Hey,
fish.
you remembered. There you go. That's what I'm talking
That's why I
about.
love the videos. They're so memorable. You remember the stuff. Even like the one that I was thinking about when you were talking just now is that howler monkey. I didn't
Oh,
think
yeah.
that was a bone. I thought that was like just like a pouch or
Like
something.
a pouch. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I think that's cool. I mean, there's not that much time to talk in these shorts. And I found kind of like what you're saying, that people enjoy it more if it's kind of just about one thing and you kind of lead someone to an answer to a question that they might have about something, or you just focus in on one idea really. And, it might sound backwards, but the way that I think about these videos is not necessarily to kind of like educate people, because I know I can never do as good of a job as a teacher in a classroom or a textbook or something like that. Instead, I'm trying to, like cultivate curiosity about animals and biology and things like that. So encourage people to be curious about these things so that then when they see a catfish on a TV show or when they see a cicada shell outside, they'll get excited about it because they know a little bit more about it, even if it's just one single fact. I think that's worthwhile.
We're out of time, but I will say people definitely need to go on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram and check out odd animal specimens. You won't regret it, and you will go down the rabbit hole and just learn about really cool stuff. Thank you,
Nice.
Charlie.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
For more on this and other programs, visit hugov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.